Welcome to the Sebcast, where we look deeper, ask bigger questions, and discover how Jesus is still changing the world. There is one small sentence in the story of Noah that easily goes unnoticed. After Noah built the ark, brought in his family, and all the animals were in their place, we read, "Then the Lord shut him in." At first glance, it seems like an unimportant detail, but it changes the whole story. Notice who closes the door. Not Noah. I think if it were me, I would probably have checked 10 times to make sure the door was properly closed. I would have made sure everything was safe. But Genesis says Noah does not close the door. God does. This means there comes a moment where human responsibility ends and God's care begins. Noah had to build the ark. He had to be obedient. He had to step in. But there was one thing he could not do himself. He could not guarantee his own salvation. How many of us live as if everything ultimately depends on us? We try to control every possible risk. We want to predict every outcome. We try to keep every door closed ourselves, and yet we discover time and again that there are limits to what we can control. Faith does not mean we do nothing. Noah worked for years before God closed the door. But faith does mean that there comes a point where we stop clinging to control and begin to rest in God's care. Maybe today there is something you need to be responsible for, a conversation you need to have, a decision you need to make, a step of obedience you need to take. But after that, you also need to learn to leave the door to God, because ultimately it is not us who keep ourselves safe. It is God. This is also our prayer at SA Congregation, that we will be a network of people who faithfully do our part, but do not try to carry the weight of the whole world on our own shoulders, because when we learn to trust our responsibility to God's care, we discover anew how Jesus is still changing the world. Until next week, take care.